because she realized that it was experience that got her up in the morning rather than possessions. So we're going to go straight to Kashlee Kucheran, who will tell you more about her story, as well as how Croatia can stand out, maybe pivot a little bit, share a bit about digital nomad trends. Can you hear me, Kashlee?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear and see me?
Yes, yes, there you are. Excellent. Welcome. Thank you. Take it away.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hi, guys. On the subject of wine, number one, I'm very jealous that you're all drinking. It's 10 a.m. here in British Columbia. So, I mean, it's a little bit early for me to start, but I am calling in from the wine capital of Canada. I'm in a place, it's just below Kelowna. It's called Osoyoos right now. And I'm just like, I'm looking out the window and I'm just surrounded by wineries. So I'm there with you in spirit. Okay. So now I have to just give me 1 second here so I can adjust my view. I want to be able to see what I'm doing. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. First off, I am a travel blogger. And I'm a travel news writer. And that's changed a lot recently in the last couple of months because of COVID, right? Travel has changed across the world, and it's certainly changed my job quite a bit. Where I used to write a lot about, the top 10 things to do in Paris. Now I'm more writing on, can I even get into Paris? Am I allowed to go? Are they going to let me in? But the answer is no for a lot of people, right? So give me a second here. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure that you can see. Okay, can you guys see these slides?
Yeah, we can see that.
You can see that? Yeah? Okay, great. And can you see the full slide and can you see me too?
Can't see you, but we can see it's not maximized, but we can see the whole slide. Yeah.
Okay. So, my story, I came from a finance and real estate background. I was a realtor for a long time and I was successful at it. I was doing a good job. I was selling lots of houses all over Canada. And then I kind of came to this point where I was stuck in this workaholic kind of situation where, I mean, I just worked and worked and worked, and I never had any time to travel. So one day I just woke up and like quit my job. I was pulling in about 250,000 at the time a year, which a lot of people would say like, why on earth would you quit a job when you're getting that kind of an income? But the thing is I was chained to real estate. I couldn't even leave. Like I couldn't even take a week off. And I love, love, love traveling. So I quit my job cold turkey and left to travel the world. And I started doing part-time digital nomadism in 2014. So I was just going somewhere for a few months at a time, but always kind of coming back to Canada and still keeping roots here, like a house and a car and all that kind of stuff. And then in 2017, my husband and I went full-time nomad. We sold our house, we sold all of our possessions, and we pretty much just continuously go around the world. And sometimes we come back to Canada once in a while just to say hi to friends and family. We're here right now. But for the most part, we are just full-time nomads. So we've been in Asia, Europe, South and Central America. We've kind of been everywhere. We've tested out lots of countries to work from and live in and test out the digital nomad world. And we have a lot of, I guess, insight on how that world looks and how it's really, really changing. And so we first created Travel Off Path, which is our main blog, our main site, our main source of what we do. It was just as like a travel blog, a way to keep in touch with friends and family. But it quickly has now moved into more news based. And now it's the world's biggest COVID era travel news source. We have about 3 million readers a month, and we're focusing on giving people the information they need in this crazy environment because, like, it's so ever changing. It changes so fast right now. Where can I go? Where am I allowed to go? Where's open? Where has reclosed? What kind of travel restrictions are in place? It is a crazy time out there, as you guys all know. So I think I want to know like right now in the audience is a digital nomad? Like, who is doing this right now?
Excellent. Yeah, so we're going to do a bit of a test here. So Lana is going to be engaging with the Zoom audience on rating themselves as a digital nomad. And here, rather than speaking, I want you to, if you're a complete digital nomad novice, you've never been a digital nomad, you stay sat down. If you're a fully fledged digital nomad, you stand fully up. And if you're somewhere in between, you kind of hover. Okay, we've got one up straight away, two up straight away, three up. We've got a halfway person there. We've got another halfway with a wine in his hand. We've got like somebody leaning a bit like Quasimodo, somebody squatting like they're on an Indian toilet, somebody fully standing up. We've got the whole range here, Kashlee. What about on Zoom? Thanks, you can sit down. Thank you. Great entertainment for me. I hope you got the feel of that, Kashlee.
Yeah.
What about on Zoom? What are we looking at on Zoom? Let's have a look. Okay, coming in on Zoom. Oh, we got a raised hand. Okay, how would you rate yourself? 1 to 73. Okay, that's a great rating system. How much are you a digital nomad? 1 for not a digital nomad, and 73 for a complete digital nomad. Oh, people are standing up as well. Kashlee's a 70. There we go. What about other people? Can we have a look at the chat? It's up here for me. I can't see it on the small one. Okay, there we go. 7. We've got a 7 there. 25.5. I like it. I like it. Okay, Tonya, 65, moving into fully fledged digital nomadism. Frederick's a 1. Just go and work. Just go and work from a cafe for a day. You can move up to a 10. We got 100. Wow, Lisa Wilson is a super digital nomad.
Off the charts.
Yeah, she's actually in Mars right now. Okay, so we got the full range, I think, Kashlee. We'll let them keep rolling in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like to see the variance here and how, I mean, some people are just here to learn and some people are pros, like absolute pros at this, which is really cool. Actually, before I even get into the meat of what I want to talk about today, I want to mention that Croatia is seriously trending right now. So as someone who spends 16 hours a day writing about travel news and travel restrictions, I have never seen so much buzz happening about Croatia, because Croatia has been super flexible with who it's letting into the country right now. They were very quick to pivot, very quick to allow people to come in with restrictions, of course, but still they have done such a superb job that we run a travel group on Facebook, and we have our travel site. And every day we're seeing posts and comments on both the site and in the group of people going, I'm going to Croatia. I normally would go to X, Y, and Z countries. I can't get in, or they won't allow me to go, or it's not safe to go. So I'm going to Croatia instead. And I cannot believe how crazy popular Croatia is getting. And I know that with this development of the digital nomad visa, it's just going to take off. I'm really excited for Croatia because I think it has the potential to literally be the #1 digital nomad country in the world, hands down.
Nice. There you go, guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip back between sharing my screen and not, because I want to be there too. I don't just want you guys looking at slides. So if I pause between, it's just because honestly, I'm not really that techie on Zoom. I just wish I was there and I could talk to you guys face to face. So we go back to the scrolls here. COVID-19, I'm sure you guys have heard about this, right? Probably every single time you pick up your phone, every single time you look at the news, it has changed everything, everything. People thought that tourism was like an untouchable industry. I know I did, right? Being in the travel blogging space, I always thought geez, it doesn't matter if this industry or that industry goes up or down. Tourism will always be there. People will always want to travel. And then COVID happened. And then it's literally changed it for us all. No matter how you're into tourism, it's affected your business. And it has been a curse and a blessing. And I know that sounds weird, but hang on. I know that Croatia has been one of the most over touristed spots lately. And I'm talking about, cruisers, day trippers, the people that are congesting the streets, not buying anything, pretty much just bringing their litter and then leaving. And that's been a problem in many countries right now. The top, 20 most visited cities in the world were very, very high congested. And now COVID happened. So that reset in that sense, in an environmental sense, can be a bit of a blessing. But for many of us, it's been a curse. For anyone that runs a hotel or a tourism business, restaurants, accommodations, airlines. I mean, everyone has been affected by this. So it's something that has really, really changed. But what has happened is now with COVID and now with all these travel restrictions, and restrictions even going into your office, guess what's happened is that a lot of people aren't going into their offices anymore. What we're going to see now is the rise of the digital nomad. So in the early 2010s, people who were a digital nomad, like we're talking 10 years ago, they were some pretty special people, right? They were the pilgrims of this. So these are the kind of people who, yeah, they probably were the backpacker. They probably were the, oh, I have a .com kind of website. And it wasn't really big. It wasn't really like a huge thing. But now digital nomads are projected to be at 1 billion people working remotely by 2035. That is a huge bump, a massive bump. And these are not just the backpackers, just the techie geeks, just the nerds, right? Before, only a few people could be a digital nomad. And now we've got everyone has the potential of being a digital nomad. You've got these 9-to-5ers who used to be stuck in a cubicle, who now work from home, and they're stuck in, maybe they're in New York, maybe they're in a shoebox office in their home, tiny, tiny little spot. And their business is saying, you're never going to come back to work. We're never going to have people back in the office now. They can now go, maybe I'd like to work from Croatia. Maybe I'd like to work from, Thailand if I could get in. Maybe I'd like to work from somewhere other than this shoebox room in my New York apartment. It is now something that is possible for millions of people that wasn't possible even as of last year. People wouldn't consider it. Now companies are pretty much begging you to go remotely so they don't have to bring you back into an office. So it's really cool. And what's happening is that people are going to be able to ask this question: could I work from here? And the answer is yes. A lot of people are going to be able to work from here. And any digital nomad knows that this is the paradise view. This isn't what it always looks like, but we all have these moments. It doesn't matter how hard you work, what kind of industry you're in. When you are a digital nomad, yeah, you're by the pool sometimes, okay? Or you're by the ocean sometimes. This is definitely the draw. This is the dream. This is why we want to work remotely. We want to get out of the office. We want to create a life that is different. And we want to work from a place like here. And now we have millions of people asking this question with a real possibility of it being yes. So I want to talk about what a digital nomad is looking for and how that's changed because of COVID, which is because it's really, really important to know whether you want to be a digital nomad or whether you have a business in Croatia where you want to help support this new influx of nomads that are going to come in. You need to know what they're looking for. So for a digital nomad, usually they're looking for these things. They're looking for good weather. Okay, that's why Thailand and Bali and all those places have been super popular. Cost, again, why a lot of people have gone to Southeast Asia, because the cost of living is so low and you can reinvest in your business a lot easier. It's just easier to get your business off the ground when you don't have a high overhead. People are looking for community. They want somewhere where there's other nomads. They want to meet like-minded people, because all nomads are a special kind of person. We want to meet others that are like us and have similar goals to us. Connection. This means with other people, but also internet. Obviously, Wi-Fi is the most important resource we have. Like, I think most nomads would rather have good Wi-Fi than probably water. So that's something good. Ease. How can I get in and out of the country? Is it easy for me to live there? Is it easy for me to fly in and out of? All of those things are a factor. Safety, of course, especially as the rise of the female solo digital nomad is taking off. People want to know if the country is safe. And culture. Nobody wants to go to a cultureless drab of a country, that's not fun. That's not part of the dream, right? So these are normally what nomads have been looking for. But COVID has changed some of these requirements dramatically. And I'm going to show you what those are. So digital nomads have been shut out of their normal places. No more Thailand, no more Vietnam, no more Bali. And as of just right now in October, there was no more Colombia. Now Colombia has reopened, but it hasn't been for the last 7 months. So people have been shut out. Where do they go? They have to find these new places. They have to find like a new favorite. And so visa runs have also become impossible with travel restrictions, because if I'm in X country, now can I fly to X country, or no, am I not permitted? People don't want to be doing these visa runs. To be honest, when you go to Thailand, Vietnam, and Bali, most of the digital nomads aren't even legally there as digital nomads, which makes visa runs even more complicated, right? So now nomads have extra criteria. What countries am I allowed to go to? Because we don't know when this will end. We don't know when travel restrictions will end. It could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 2 years, could be 5 years. So what countries can I go to? And how were the lockdowns handled in those countries? For example, if you were a nomad and you were in Peru when the lockdowns happened in March, guess what? You're probably still in Peru. Like, you got trapped there. And nobody wants to pick a country right now where they might actually get trapped with no way out. But if you were in a country like Mexico, flights never stopped. You could go in and out of that country easily. So now how the lockdowns were handled is a big factor for nomads in choosing where they want to go and live and build their business. And then the last one is freedom of movement. So while you were in the country, were you allowed to go grocery shopping? Were you allowed to go to restaurants? Were you allowed to, for example, and again, in Latin America, there were some Latin American countries where you could only go to the grocery store on certain days. So females could go on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Males could go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, that's crazy. Like, the restrictions inside the country, people are very, very aware of that. And so these are the new criteria that nomads are looking for. So it's very, very important to know that as a nomad, or if you're going to be supporting nomads. Croatia, thankfully, has been a great country with the new criteria. There was a lot of freedom of movement. Nothing really got shut down to the point where it was, I would say, like, completely restrictive. So those are all very, very good things for Croatia. It gives people a lot of faith that there were no draconian laws. There's no crazy hoops that people had to jump through in being there. So on to my next point. Croatia. Like I said at the beginning, I think that Croatia has the potential to be the #1 digital nomad country in the world. In the world. Now, there are currently 6 countries that offer a digital nomad program. Dubai just announced theirs yesterday. So they're #6. I think someone earlier said that there were 5, but now there are 6. And I just want to go over what they're requiring from digital nomads right now, so you guys know what the comparison might be like. And for people who are involved with local authorities that are listening today, these are some things to take in consideration when you're building the criteria for nomads to come to Croatia. So right now there are 6 nations. Bermuda has the highest cost of living in the world. Their visa is only $263 to buy it. And they say you just need enough income to support yourself. It's very open-ended. But Bermuda is literally the #1 most expensive country in the world. So I don't know how many digital nomads are going to flock there. It's so expensive. We're talking more expensive than Singapore, more expensive than Switzerland. It is so expensive. You want a bottle of water, it's $7. You want like chicken nuggets at McDonald's, $15. It is not a cheap place to be a nomad. Then we've got Barbados. The visa is so expensive. They want $2,000 to $3,000 for the visa. $2,000 for an individual, $3,000 for a couple. And they say you have to make 50 grand a year. Again, Barbados is an island in the Caribbean. It's pretty expensive, not as expensive as Bermuda, but still very expensive. And Anguilla, just a few weeks ago, came out with theirs. And they're saying it's $2,000 to buy, but it's a very small island. I mean, it's 15,000 people. And for a lot of nomads, that's just too small. They want more of a community, a little bit more things going on, a little bit more lively. So these are all in the Caribbean. The next ones we've got on the side of the world that Croatia's on. We've got Estonia. It's only 100 euros for their visa. And they're asking that you prove income of 3,500 euros per month. But Estonia is cold, right? I mean, you got colder winters. And that might not be every nomad's thing, especially if they're used to going to Thailand, Bali, and all those other countries. You've got Georgia, who probably has the most attractive digital nomad program, to be honest. They're probably like the biggest competitor with Croatia. They have a free visa. They ask that you make $2,000 per month. And the only thing is that this might be only for advanced nomads. Georgia has a little bit more of a language barrier. It's a little bit less, let's say, on the beaten path than, say, Croatia. So this might only be for more advanced nomads. And then you've got Dubai. They just launched theirs yesterday, $287 to buy. They want you to be making $5,000 US per month. That's a big requirement. And to be frank, not all nomads are going to like the culture and the lifestyle of Dubai. It's a very particular culture. It's a very particular lifestyle. It's very, very expensive. This might not be everybody's bag, okay? So here is where Croatia really takes the cake against all these other six. Croatia has a good cost of living. Now, I looked this up, and according to Numbeo, Croatia is a lower cost of living than the USA, UK, Canada, Australia, and most of the EU. So Italy and I think the only ones that are really less than Croatia would be like Portugal, Bulgaria. There's only a few that are really under Croatia. So Croatia's cost of living is great when you compare it to where most of these nomads are coming from. Most of them are going to come from Australia, Canada, USA, UK. Great. You've got an emerging nomad infrastructure. Like we've seen in this presentation, there's so many businesses that are looking to start supporting these nomads. So it's already emerging. That's great. Croatia is very accessible with their entry requirements, and they have great connections. It's located in Europe. You can connect easily to Asia, to the Middle East, to North America. It's great. It has great connections for getting in and out and for traveling to other places, because nomads like to travel. We don't want to sit in one spot, right? That's the whole point. And weather. Some of you in Croatia, you might think that your weather is bad in the winter, but I'm telling you it's not. As someone who lives in Canada and has traveled other places, Croatian weather, like I would trade it for a Canadian winter any day. Sign me up. I'm there. And Croatia, let me tell you, is trendy right now. Everyone loves it. People fell in love with it 8 years ago because of Game of Thrones, and now they love it because it's the country that let them in and let them reunite with their loved ones when other countries locked them out. It's becoming everyone's new favorite spot. So this is like where Croatia is just ramping up to be amazing. I wanted to share with you Croatia's entry requirements for anyone that doesn't know. So right now in Croatia, all nations are welcome. And EU countries can come in unrestricted, just meaning you can just kind of show up. You don't have to have a proof of accommodation, no PCR tests, no quarantines, all that kind of thing. If you're from another country like Canada, Australia, United States, you can still come in. You just have to bring with you a negative PCR test that was taken no longer than 48 hours before you arrive. And this is so interesting and so important to know, because Croatia is the only nation in the European Union that currently allows Americans without a 14-day quarantine. Americans cannot enter the EU unless they enter through Slovenia with the 14-day quarantine, or unless they enter non-EU countries like UK or Ireland, again, with the 14-day quarantine. So Croatia has been like, come on in, guys, like welcome, like bring it on. So that is really important to know. Croatia has been very welcoming and very, I don't really know what the word is. Like they've just been accommodating. That's the word I'm looking for. They've been very, very accommodating. Now I know I only have a little bit more time, but I have some important things to cover. I want to talk about how Croatia can stand out. And this is important for anyone that has a business that is looking to support nomads. And it's even for nomads to look at this who are considering Croatia and chime in and say what is important to them. Because right now there's, people are here, people are listening, you have people's ears. So right before I get into what Croatia can do to attract and keep nomads, I just want to talk about who these nomads are and why they're really, really important for Croatia to want to attract, and for your business, if you have a business in Croatia, why you want these nomads. So nomads are going to put more money back into Croatia. Nomads, they like to support local because, let's face it, most digital nomads are small business owners ourselves. We're very, very aware and cognizant of supporting local business. We're usually not the types of people to just find a Starbucks. We usually try to find a locally owned cafe where we can have coffee, support local, buy local, meet local people. That's very much on our radar. And we spend on more than just tourism. So when you've got day trippers coming in, they just might be spending on only tourism-based things like airport transportation and maybe just a hotel or maybe just a guided tour, where nomads are spending more than that. They're actually paying electricity bills. They're paying for furniture. They're paying for food and groceries and local services. It's so much money that goes right back into Croatia. Nomads are more consistent. Digital nomads are, that's just a slow season, not slow reason. They're slow season resistant. So Croatia has a slow season like every other tourism hotspot, but nomads are usually there for the long haul. So they're going to be your customers when it's slow and when the cruise ships aren't there, right? They're going to be the ones that are still coming back to your business day after day. And they offer a lot more, there's not as much congestion as like a day tripper or a cruise tripper. Self-promoting. Nomads are marketing experts. Okay. So when they're in Croatia and they're at your businesses, their testimonial of them being there is your biggest advertisement, because nomads love to take pictures of what they're doing, post it online, all those kinds of things, or they're very well connected with like-minded people. And the digital nomads are literally going to be the biggest advertisement for the Nomad program in Croatia. Just them sharing their day-to-day lifestyle is like a running commercial for your business and for Croatia as a country. And return business. When you have a tourist come into your business that's just there on a day trip, you don't have any opportunity to resell them. But with a nomad, they're there for, say, a year. You have weeks, months, and years in order to get them back into your business time after time. You have so many chances to resell and upsell them. And also, nomads have a higher chance of eventually investing in Croatia, buying property in Croatia, or even becoming a permanent resident of Croatia. And that can bring with it more money, especially as their businesses grow. So these are really, really important reasons of why you want to attract and keep these nomads in your circle. And for people who have the ear of Croatian authorities, this is important. I think Croatian authorities can do two things to really make sure that this program launches right and stands out from the other 6 countries that have a current program. If they can keep their flexible entry requirements, if Croatia can stay flexible with letting in all nations right now, because that's what they're doing, then I think that that is one of the key things, because then all the people who are locked out of other countries can still come to Croatia. Keeping that flexible attitude is so important. And then finding the barrier to entry. Some of the other programs we looked at, they want a lot of money, proven that you make so much money a month, or they have huge costs for the visa. I think you want to have a good barrier to entry. If it's too low, you do get a lot of backpackers who probably are on such a strict budget, they're not going to be putting any money back into the local economy. But you don't want to make it too high that you're pushing away all these people who might have money in the bank but don't have a lot of monthly income to prove, or their business might be growing at such an exponential rate that they only have a small amount to show now, but it's going to be so much bigger very soon, and you want them with you. So I think that's what local authorities can do. And right now, if you are a business in Croatia, pre-digital nomad visa, before this visa launches, Croatia is one of the top 10 COVID era destinations in the world right now. It is so popular with people that are traveling now. The people that are traveling now are the die-hard travelers. These people are like, COVID, what? I'm not scared. I want to travel. I need to go. I want to go now. And they're going to come to Croatia. So know who they are. They're there now. Know your audience. These people are locked out of their current go-to destinations. They might be in Croatia because it's the only place that let them in. Maybe they gave it a chance. They're thinking, I can't get into Thailand. I can't get into Bali. I'm going to try Croatia. But guess what? Now they're falling in love with it. So make them fall in love with it while they're here. Pivot and repurpose your current business to make it more attractive to the kinds of people that are traveling right now. So if you say you have like a hotel and you're used to just selling 1 or 2 nights because people are just staying there on a short trip, what about making it so that it's a long stay for people who can stay? You can still fill the rooms, make a little bit of profit, but just cater towards who's there right now. And these are the diehard travelers. These are the nomads that are there before the visa even comes there. My last slide is this one. This is for anyone who has a business there right now, and just some ideas about how to stand out once the visa is launched. And nomads look for different things. So the one thing that they're looking for in accommodation is they're looking for long-term stays. So if you do have a hotel, or you have an Airbnb, or you have some sort of an accommodation, offering long-term stays that are not positioned as vacation stays with that vacation tourist kind of a price tag is very, very important. Nomads need a place to live and they don't want to pay the tourist rates. Nomads are always like, give me the local rate. I don't want the tourist rate. So make something that is a long-term offer. If you have anything from a restaurant to a hotel to any other service where people might be coming in, do you have working areas for them? Do you have comfortable chairs? Do you have plugs? Do you have desks? Do you have other services or perks you could be offering nomads right now that will get them into your business and get them to stay there or to repeat your business, to be a repeat customer? Wi-Fi. We've talked about Wi-Fi. It's so important. You need to have a great Wi-Fi connection. Just invest in it. It doesn't matter if it's 3 times the price. It will pay off, I promise. Just have really, really, really good Wi-Fi, no matter what your business is. Community. If you can offer meetups or offer some sort of an expat community, do that. If you can host some sort of event, do that. If you can support people who are hosting the events, find a way to get involved, find a way to be there. If there's events that are popping up where nomads are collecting in one area and you have a product or service, then those are your target customers. Go there, network with them at these places. Like, you should be signing up for any kind of digital nomad thing that's happening in the area. And repeat business. You just want to get these people back. So make maybe loyalty programs, make, like where people, it's like if you buy 9, you get the 10th free, all those kinds of things. Do you have any perks or services that you can offer to these nomads that if they are loyal to you and they keep coming back, that you can offer them some sort of discount programs, things like that? I think that will really, really change the way that your business can pivot and support these digital nomads. Now, there are some examples we've seen in the Caribbean. Some hotels have done things where they're offering long stays. They might be offering, say, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe to a month. And every day at 5 o'clock, they're offering happy hour. So every day people are working from their hotel. Maybe they've got kids. The kids are doing homeschooling. All of a sudden, 5 p.m. rolls around. Boom, they give you a free glass of wine every day. And you might think, oh my gosh, that's probably a lot of money. But it's not, because guess what people do after their free glass of wine? They buy a second glass of wine. So you're really selling them something, even though you gave them something for free. So doing things like that, hotels are doing these happy hours. We've also seen hotels do a midday, half an hour shoulder massage. So you're working hard, you're slumped over your computer. The hotel's saying, oh, you can have a half an hour massage on us all day. You want to turn that into an hour? You can pay. Things like that. There's all these upsell programs that are being offered at these hotels. If these hotels are really quick to pivot, really quick to change the way that they're operating so that they can make the most out of these people who were doing these long stays, make the most of these nomads who were all of a sudden on their properties. There's so many ideas what you can do across the board, no matter what your industry is, to support nomads. And that's all I have.
Kashlee, thank you very much. Round of applause for Kashlee, please. You pretty much just did the job for the tourist board and maybe the city of Dubrovnik. So you can send them the invoice. I'll give you those later. or they can pay you with wine. But if you
Oh,
want
I will
more,
take that. Yeah.
the yeah the place where you can buy more. No, great, really interesting stuff there. I liked your criteria you went through as well. Let me bring it up. You said weather. We have that for sure.
Hmm.
Cost, with the going for a local price compared to a tourist price, that's something definitely to work on. Community, there is a great community feel here. Once you've got a community, I think I have 6 new grandmothers since moving to Croatia.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
Potentially 6 new wives because they want to match me up with different women.
Oh.
That's illegal here, though. Connection. Actually, Kenneth asked about the connection. Something for Jan to ponder. Maybe he has some answers. Maybe some other people have some answers as well. Plans to ease transport infrastructure for getting to and from Croatia for digital nomadism. Because currently flights from New York are about 15 hours. There are very few flights from North America. I saw the Zoom, what do you want, audience, the Zoomers, talking about flights to Croatia, direct flights and stuff. So that's something for Jan to discuss later. Definitely, we'll look at that tomorrow. Any questions not answered today? Ease, that kind of fits in with that as well. Getting rid of some bureaucracy, I'm sure. Safety. Now, I looked on Nomad list, and for some reason, lots of places in Croatia are not considered high in safety. But I don't know what everyone thinks about here, but here you see 7-year-olds walking to school and back from school. You see women of all ages walking alone throughout the evening, like either to from families, from clubs, from concerts, whatever. For me, Croatia is the safest country I've lived in by far. And culture, I don't need to say much about culture. Croatia is bursting with culture. A number of cultures, actually. So, Kashlee, have you ever been to Croatia?
This is going to sound crazy, but no. Right? And it seems like I have, right? It seems like I'm really passionate about it. But I feel like, in a way, maybe this is the techie kind of like computer blogger nerd in me, but I feel like because so many of our readers and so many of the people that I'm connected with in the nomad world are in Croatia right now, or they've just been there, or they're on their way there. I feel like I am there. We get so many daily reports of people on the ground. And what they've been telling us is just that they're instantly in love, that it's one of the best places they've ever been, that they're reimagining their world with Croatia now in it. And so I can feel passionate about it, even though I've never stepped foot.
There is a rumor going around the room that you're coming in spring.
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, we'll be waiting for you. There's people. Look, there we go. Round of applause. So, yeah, like, come on. So, how cold will it be in winter in where you are?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to stay in Canada. I'm here now, but I'm not going to stay here. I haven't seen winter in 7 years. I wouldn't know what to do with it. But if I did stay here, Canada can get to around, depending on where you are, like minus 30 Celsius. Where I am in BC, maybe just minus 10. That's
You thought
cold.
that was
That's
so
cold.
cold. One member of our audience dropped his phone in shock. That's how cold it was.
At least he didn't drop his wine.
No, he didn't drop his wine. He didn't drop his wine, and almost did. And yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, like you can swim through the winter here. You can.
Wow.
Sometimes you're in t-shirts and stuff. So we'll be looking to welcome you in spring. We have a question from Mario, who asks, and we'll put this out to everyone actually. And Ashley, like Kashlee, with all your research that you've done. Do you know what are the most popular cities in Croatia for nomads? So what's the word on the internet, Kashlee?
So right now, people have been saying that Dubrovnik is more expensive and that a lot of the nomads are landing like in Split is a bit of more favorable in terms of cost. But I can't really say on terms of culture, but a lot of people have been sort of landing outside of Dubrovnik because the cost of living is a little bit higher in that city. However, it might come down because I think Dubrovnik was really driven up by popularity and from day trippers and from this massive influx of tourists. If those aren't coming back in floods anymore, I think the prices might adjust back down to a more reasonable level.
Yeah, you touched on that earlier. If people coming just for the day, they'll just interact with, say, tourism activities rather than the whole bunch. Have you heard any other cities being mentioned at all?
No, not really. People are just really kind of the ones that we've seen have been Split and Dubrovnik, have really been the ones that have been standing out online.
Okay, so cool. Because obviously Zagreb, the capital, attracts a certain amount of digital nomads because its proximity to other countries up there, and it can sometimes be a kind of a kind of gateway through down to Croatia and stuff if people can't get directly. Where else? We've got some digital nomads in the room. Where else have you been in Croatia? Just shout out. Istria, Makarska. Any others? Hvar? Brač. Okay, we're sticking anyone inland. A boat. Any others it is that you're digitally nomaded through? Šibenik. Okay. Zadar. Okay, we're still on the coast. Okay, so
One more thing, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
hijacking the mic. Someone from the Travel Off Path community online came tonight.
okay, we have someone from the Travel Off Path community.
That is so fun. Hi.
So she's getting the mic right now. Just give us a bit of a spiel.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hi, Kashlee.
Hi.
It's been a great presentation. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. So your community is everywhere. Did you plant her here? Was that?
Yes, she's my spy.
Okay, there we go. Be careful. Excellent. Do we have any questions from the guys here for Kashlee or anyone from Zoom? I'm seeing. You have a question?
Sure. You got no question? Oh. Hello. As a digital nomad and American, it's been a big struggle, as you probably know, figuring out where I can get in and travel during this COVID era. So as you mentioned, I definitely agree that right now the key factors are ease, acceptance into a country, and what are the lockdown restrictions. And so in searching where we can go next, we've definitely experienced some conflicting information. So I'd love to get some tips and advice on like what has been your source of truth, because even embassies we've seen doesn't always have the most updated information when we're deciding where to go next.
Yeah, that is such a good question. And honestly, it's one of the questions we get asked on a daily basis. I probably get asked this question 20 times a day is where can I go after I've been in X country? So as an American, you know, you're barred from lots of places you want to go right now. But once you've been in Croatia, which is in the EU, where can you go? Can you just freely go to Italy now? Can you freely go to France? Can you freely go to other places where Croatians are accepted, or are you still barred because you're an American citizen and resident? And the answer is there is no answer. So where I find the truth, and I mean, this is a total plug to Travel Off Path here, but like I would say that we probably are the truth because we only get our information from governments themselves. Like you mentioned, even embassies, consulates, and border police might have different answers depending on what day you go, who you happen to get, if they're having a good day or not. But we do try to get all of our information only from government sources. We triple check it constantly. We are on the ball. And you're going to have to treat each country separately. So if say you're in Croatia now and you want to go to, I'm going to use Italy as an example because it's a really good example. Italy has been one of the countries that's been very vocal that they will accept American residents after they've been in Croatia for 14 days. And they actually just dropped the PCR test requirement when coming from Croatia. So you can go to Italy. But say you want to go to Spain. I don't have an answer for you on Spain because Spain has not released a decree. They've not released an official document saying, yes, once you've been in Croatia for 14 days, you are free to come in. I know this sounds crazy, but really the only way to know during this is to take the risk and try. If you're okay with potentially not getting on your flight or potentially being turned away at the border, go. The only things you can do are to get in contact with the Spanish border police and ask them, I've been in Croatia for 14 days. I'm a US resident. Can I come in? They'll say yes or no. And when you get there, It doesn't, even if you have an email that says, yes, you can, the border police agent might say, actually, no, you can't. I don't want you to come in because you're a US resident. There's so much risk with traveling right now that you have to treat each country differently. And what we try to do at Travel Off Path is we try to find which countries are going to allow Americans after they've been in certain countries for a certain amount of time. And we try to give all that information to travelers. We just try to research it all for you. It's definitely an ever-changing thing. It's very, very difficult. I wish I had like a blanket answer for you, but I don't. But I think just picking a country is really the way that you're going to get the information easiest. So if you just say, oh, I want to go everywhere, it's too broad. You have to decide where you want to go, pick the country, and then we can research it together. You can ask a question in our group, in our Travel Off Path Facebook community, and we'll all bind together to help you to come and give you the answer.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kashlee. Thank you for your speech. We are going to, okay, we have 4 questions, or we move on.
Hi, my name is Paul Bradbury. I'm the owner of Total Croatian News, English language news portal here. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on a fantastic presentation. 2 things. Number 1, in April next year, we have a fantastic project in Dubrovnik for digital nomads for 1 month. Would you be available to come for a month in April next year? Have a think about that. Number 2, Dubai announced its digital nomad visa yesterday. It's now the 5th or 6th country. It's such a sensible idea. When people hear the idea of the nomad visa, it makes sense. How many countries do you think will be offering a nomad visa in the next 12 months? And how does Croatia keep its competitive advantage?
Oh, I love these questions. By the way, I love your sites. Total Croatian News has been a resource that a lot of my readers have also used. So congrats on having such a very niche and specific site that really helps people for traveling to Croatia right now. To answer your first question, yes, I would love to be coming to Croatia in the spring. I'd love to participate in a month-long digital nomad experience there. That would be amazing. And for your second question, I don't really think a lot of countries are going to start offering this digital nomad visa right away, and I'll tell you why. I think that most countries are buried under their own bureaucracy. I think that countries are slow to pivot. They can't even figure out what countries they're allowing in at the moment, let alone if they're going to make a whole digital nomad program. So I feel that most countries are just so restricted. They have so many laws, so many chains of command within government. It's almost impossible. The countries that do it well are the countries like Croatia, if you can pivot easily. If you're independent and free thinking enough, and you've got enough that you can really make these quick changes, that's how these programs are implemented. I do think that once Asian countries do reopen, I think they're going to really push heavy on getting the nomads back, because right now you can't go to Thailand, you can't go to Bali. And while a lot of nomads were there like illegally, like they're just there for 30 days, 60 days, kept renewing their visas. Those countries are missing those tourists so badly. So I think when they do reopen, say in 2021, they're going to make massive pushes to make people fall in love with them again and trust them again and get back on their soil. So I think that's going to be Croatia's biggest competitor, are these Southeast Asian countries launching official legal programs. I think that will be tough, but I think that nomads are going to be like, do I want to go there? Do I want to get trapped? Do I believe in the healthcare system there? Do I trust the governments there? Do I put all my eggs in that basket? So I think right now, the faster that Croatia can launch this program, the better, because they can really get people to commit to a year, maybe commit to renewing that for a further year if that's a possibility with this new visa or with this new long stay program, to get people to invest in Croatia now so that when these other programs do launch, they're not like, oh, shiny new toy, I want to go try this country and this country. And I don't think Dubai is like a competitor for Croatia at all. I think it's so expensive. I think the barrier to entry is really high. And like I said, the lifestyle is different. It's not that like cobblestone, I'm just going to have my espresso and like look out at the water. It's very much, it's more conservative for sure. And I think nomads would go there thinking it's going to be the Dubai they see on Instagram. And then the reality of Dubai is going to settle in and it's going to be a little overwhelming.
Okay, Paula.
Kashlee, it's Jan here. I just wanted to congratulate you on a wonderful presentation. It was really amazing. My question would be, how could you support the Digital Nomad Association in Croatia?
Yeah, like as Travel Off Path as myself.
Shout it out.
Like yourself, like
Yourself
your organization, yeah.
or your organization, however, whichever, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that because this is something that obviously I'm very interested in, I'm a nomad myself. I'm super passionate about this. And I'm super passionate that Croatia has been able to let in all of our readers. Like, it's like I have this, like, I feel proud that all of these people who have been searching for a place to go can go to Croatia. And we have, sidebar, but there's like the Love Isn't Tourism movement where people have been separated, unmarried couples that have been separated by travel bans. A lot of them have been reuniting with partners in Croatia. So I just feel like so strongly about Croatia right now. And going forward, I think that a lot of our readers are nomads or they're nomad hopefuls now that they can be, now that the global world has shifted. And Travel Off Path and myself would love to support any organization that's happening right now, because I mean, one, we're going to live it in the spring, and number two, we want to offer this resource. We want to shout this out to our readers and to people in our network and say, this is an option for you. You can go here. This place is welcoming you. They want you to build your online business there. They want to support you. They want to welcome you with open arms into their country so that you can have the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. Like, that is so romantic in a sense, right? And we would love to be a part of supporting that and giving that information to our readers, writing blogs about it, writing how-to guides. When the visa launches, like, I'm going to make the longest how to apply for the Croatian digital nomad visa blog in the world, and it's going to be #1 on Google. So, I mean, that.
Thank you very much, Kashlee. We're gonna. What's that? We have one more question.
Yeah.
Being bullied into.
Hi, Kashlee. My name's Nick Hathaway. I don't know if you saw, I presented earlier for 45 Degree Sailing. Now, I've just been organizing your itinerary for next year. And they thank you for all of what you're doing here. And I'm just wondering, which islands have you visited in Croatia? Because I just want to make sure I take you, travel off path style.
None. I haven't been to Croatia.
Oh, that was way too easy.
Okay,
right.
so
Look forward to seeing
you've
you
got
next
a lot of people waiting for you now, Kashlee.
I know, this is so fun. I wish I could be there right now.
Your website, we know everything, so we'll be waiting here with open arms. Thank you for speaking. Please check out the Zoom chat. There might be a few more questions coming for you in there. But once again, thank you very much for your great insight about the digital nomad world and also what Croatia can do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Bye.